Queen Nia watches from her window, whispering to her attendant, "Who is that handsome man?" "I've never seen such a hunter," said the queen. "That is Kwesi, my queen. He's known to be as clever as he is skilled," the attendant replied. Queen Nia smiling slyly as she instructed her attendant, "Bring him to me." "I think I have." She paused and catch the words before they flew out, then said, "Royal business to discuss." But the queen's intentions were far from innocent. While the king was away at war, she invited Kwesi to the palace to hear tales of his adventures, and Kwesi, unsuspecting, accepted. As Kwesi walked through the palace hall, his mind lost to the real reason why the queen would request his presence. His heartbeat raced as he approached her chamber. He tried hard to stay calm and end a fight within to overcome nerves pulsing with adrenaline, which he managed to do. He's brought to the queen's chamber, where she is waiting, dressed in fine clothes. Jewelry sparkling and a sweet fragrance from her perfume fill the air. "Kwesi, your bravery is legendary. Surely there's no man in the kingdom as bold as you," said the queen, as she touches his arms, pointing out how muscular and strong his arms were. "My queen, I am honored by your words," Kwesi said, looking uncertain but calm and respectful. The queen was so overcome by passion just by being in the midst of Kwesi and touching him. It was like fire ignite. She gently leaned in, whispering in a soft and seductive voice, "Oh, Kwesi, why should you waste your charms on the common women of the village? Wouldn't you rather share your stories, and maybe more, with someone who truly appreciates you?" Kwesi understood the queen's intentions and, though tempted, feared the king's wrath. He gently pulled away, bowing. "My queen, I am but a humble servant of the king. I dare not cross such a line." Queen Nia frowns, her eyes turning cold. Scorned and humiliated, the queen was furious. She vowed to punish Kwesi for rejecting her advances. And so, she crafted a lie so revengeful. The king, victorious in battle, returns to his palace. His soldiers hail him and celebrate as he approached the palace, smiling with a victorious feeling and still remaining humble and honored. The king had won a very important battle, and all he wanted was to see his queen. Queen Nia approached the king, welcoming him with a smile and a hug that was cold as ice. And even though the king kept it cool, he could still feel the energy that something was wrong. He then held her hand and both walked off into the king's chamber, and that's when the queen abruptly changed the mood with her feigned tears. She started crying. The king held her close, and in a comforting voice he asked, "What's wrong, my queen?" "Why are you crying?" the king asked. "My lord, while you were away, your so-called loyal hunter, he dared to approach me with improper intentions." The king was so furious, yet disappointed because he held Kwesi at an honorable level in the temple, and as a trusted friend. "Guards, go and fetch that hunter Kwesi, take him to me immediately," he said with a calm look on his face, hiding the vengeance and fury building up inside, fueled with the feeling of betrayal. Kwesi was dragged into the king's throne room by guards and put to kneel before the king. He looked terrified yet dignified. "How dare you? You betray me after I placed my trust in you," the king shouted. "My king, I swear, I have done nothing wrong. It was the queen who—" The queen interrupts, sobbing loudly, "See, my king, he even tries to put the blame on me." Kwesi knew he needed to prove his innocence, but how? He pleaded with the king, reiterating his innocence. The king was so filled with rage and anger planted by the betrayal. He then ordered the guards to take Kwesi to the dungeon and lock him up. Hearing this, the queen stopped crying, wiping her tears, and just as the guards were taking Kwesi out, he looked at her and she just smiled, a revengeful and devious smile. Kwesi was alone in the dark dungeon without food and water, left to suffer. He was going insane with the fact that he is being punished for something that he did not do and pacing himself, trying to hold on to his sanity, while thinking of a way to prove his innocence. As days turned to weeks, weeks turned to months, Queen Nia, with no remorse nor mercy, smiling, feeling proud that she had made the hunter who had refused her advances, rot away in the palace dungeon, while she'll live her royal and glamorous life as the queen she is. One day she went to visit a friend, and while she was there, her eyes caught a young, handsome man with a body and a smile that captivated her. Queen Nia's lust would not be satiated. She wasted no time. She smiled with a flirting wave. Her recklessness knew no bounds. Seeing this, the handsome guy walked over, pacing his steps. "Good day, my queen. You're looking stunning today," he said, being polite and respectful. "Thank you. You're looking stunning yourself," she said in a seductive tone. "What is your name?" she asked. "My name is Obakol Maliche from the Malichai tribe. They talk for a few, and in the middle of the conversation, Queen Nia touched Oboko on his chest while whispering, "Let's go somewhere." They both left the friend's house and went to a cottage that was owned by the king. Soon as they reached the cottage, they sat with each other comfortable. Oboko stared into Queen Nia's eyes as she smiled and pulled her close. She was waiting for him to take control, and in that she didn't resist it. They both kissed softly with heavy breathing and his hands all over her body like he was searching for a specific spot. Queen Nia, moaning from the immense pleasure that floods her body, she held Oboko tight while her fingernails pierced his back. They both were in a place so high it all seems clouded, eyes closed while making passionate love. After that first romantic encounter with Queen Nia and Oboko, they kept seeing each other, can't get enough. Meanwhile, Kwesi languished in the dungeon, his spirit unbroken. He shared his tale with a wise old prisoner, Baba Yugo, who possessed mystical powers. He could see that the king was under a spell that was put on him by his queen. Baba Yugo vowed to aid Kwesi in his quest for justice. One fateful night, under the light of a full moon, Baba Yugo conjured a magical spell. Kwesi's form began to shift, transforming into a beautiful eagle. He flew out the dungeon and made his way to the king's chamber, where he saw the king sitting in a chair. He had thought to himself, not knowing how the king would react if he find out that the eagle that is on his window ledge is Kwesi, his trusted hunter friend who he had banished to the dungeon to suffer. On his quest for freedom, Kwesi never hesitated. He magically assumed his real form, appearing in front of the king. The king was so frightened that he was unable to move from the chair. He only could sit with his eyes wide open, trying to come to terms with what he is witnessing. Kwesi spoke, "My king, don't be afraid or bewildered. It is I, Kwesi. I have come to you tonight to help you see that which you are blinded from. I am here to set you free from that wretched and evil queen of yours, who has been fornicating and sleeping around being disloyal." The king was still in shock and disbelief. It was hard for him to come to terms of what Kwesi was saying. "My king, the queen, has placed a spell on you. That is the reason why you're unable to see through her lies and deceits. She, being unfaithful and sleeping with other men, is uncontrollable. For the spell to remain on you while getting stronger, she would have to sleep with other men. In return, makes her more beautiful and powerful." The king, finally gathering his thoughts, said in a calm but steady voice, "Kwesi, am I to believe that my adorable queen would do such an act to me? You're insane. I will not accept your nonsense. My king, you're not going to be able to accept it because of the spell." Kwesi then magically transformed to the eagle and flew away, leaving the king lost to what has transpired. Queen Nia, looking in the mirror at how she is becoming more beautiful and sexy, she feels more powerful and wealthy. Realizing that she is becoming more powerful, she knows that the king time was near. In order for her to get everything, the spell will have to kill him. The queen showed no remorse nor empathy for no one, not even her beloved king. 3 days has passed, and the king had gotten sick. He requested for the most powerful wizard in the kingdom to be brought to him immediately. His servants went out and came back with no one. The king saw this and was furious. "Where is the most powerful wizard that I requested? Have you not known the consequence of not fulfilling my orders?" In a fearful, yet respectful voice, one of the servants replied, "My king, we went out and searched the whole kingdom, and the best and most powerful wizard we could find is locked away in the dungeon. His name is Baba Yugo." The king, realizing what Kwesi had told him was true, said with no hesitation, "Release and bring him to me at once." The servants went and released the wizard and took him to the king's chamber. Baba Yugo kneeled before the king and said, "My king, you have requested my presence and I am humbled. What can I do for you?" he said in a strong yet humble voice. I'm sick, and I was told that a spell was placed on me by my queen. I need to know how to break the spell. My king, the spell has reached its highest level. She has finally absorbed all your energy. So if we don't work fast, you're gonna die in 3 days. To break the spell, you would have to go to the Panola forest and capture a toro, the rarest animal of the forest, for its blood. You need to choose your best hunter and send him to retrieve the toro blood, or else I can't do nothing. The king knows that his best hunter is Kwesi. And, although still filled with hate for his betrayal, he was so sick and desperately in need. He had no choice but to order for the release of Kwesi. Kwesi, armed with his spear, his knife and a heavy heart, mixed with guilt, betrayal, sadness, sorrow, pity and love and respect for the king, went out to the Panola forest to fetch the toro blood. Knowing that this venture means life and death for the king, even though he had locked him away in the dungeon for so long, he never hated him, and being the fact that he was definitely under a spell, he felt a sense of pity. Kwesi then ventured deep into the forest tracking the Toro. He knows if he would see on, he would have to go deeper into the thick vegetations and the massive trees. On the journey, he encountered a couple of predators, but being for his skills and experience as a hunter, his speed and agility, they were no match for him. He then met up on a cave where he saw some track prints leading inside. He then went across from the cave to a higher ground, hid in some bushes and waited. Kwesi was in the bushes like a lion stalking its prey, waiting for the right time, eyes on the cave like the prize was inside, waiting to be revealed. He waited for an hour, and there it was. A Toro strolling out of the cave unbeknownst to the brave, vicious and fearful hunter in the bush eyeing its every move. Kwesi carefully creep up closer to the Toro, silent, yet deadly. And before the Toro even knew it, this fear was already through its sides. The Toro ran off because it was surprised, but it was already dead. It had nowhere going. Kwesi then take out the bottle that Baba Yugo gave him and filled it with the Toro's blood. He then took out his knife and skinned the Toro from the head to its feet in place. The Toro skinned over him like a cape and sets off on his journey back to the palace. When Kwesi reached back to the palace, the king was on his dying stage. He had lost consciousness. Kwesi quickly gave the bottle of Toro blood to Baba Yugo, who right away took it with some other potions and start mixing the cure. After 20 minutes, the potion was ready. He went over to the king, and as soon as the potion touched the king's body, the spell was broken and he started to regain consciousness. The king is now finally free from the spell, thanks to the brave and clever hunter Kwesi and the powerful wizard Baba Yugo. He had gained back his health, and in return for Kwesi's bravery and help in saving his life, he appointed him chief of the kingdom. Second in command after the king, Baba Yugo, he was paid a hefty sum of money and was given the option to stay with the king as his personal wizard or leave and start somewhere else. He chose the latter. As for Queen Nia, she was banished from the kingdom and sent to the Nazari Island lockup where she will contemplate her deeds. We hope for your support in the form of likes and share. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more entertaining content. Thanks for watching.